Okay, so everyone has their first sheet. So Tish is going to play music in between the activities that I'm going to give you. But for the first one, we're going to do a brainstorming session. So I want you guys to take your big sheet of paper and draw a huge circle, not big enough to fill the whole page, but probably like the middle of it. Just enough room so you can write basically like this. I don't know if you guys can see my pencil, but just like a circle in the middle of your page. And in the middle of that circle, write my desires. And then you're going to have 5 lines. So just draw lines outside of, like pointing into the circle. Just make 5 anywhere on the paper. And this is where you're going to have a little time. Tish is going to play music. So for each line, you're going to put where you want to improve your life, like your main desires. So it could be like business, it could be fitness, it could be health, it could be relationships, anything that you want to improve, whether it's business wise or personal, put that on your list of the 5. And then for each area, you're going to put 3 to 4 things that that want to get that want to make you get there. Like, so finance, I would say, I want to make more money, or I want to pay off all of my debt, something like that. So just put 3 or 4 things that lead to what you want. So your health, I want to eat healthier. It can be broad, it can be generic, but just put 3 to 4 things under each area. And then when you're done, I'll stop it in like a couple minutes when Tish is playing the music. If you guys are unsure of the things that you want, so like say you want finances and you're like, okay, but yeah, like I want more money, but what do I write there? You just have to think of what you don't want. I don't want to lose my house. I don't want to have $100,000 in credit card debt, something like crazy, and then do the opposite of that. So I want to pay off this. I want to do this. I want my business to be successful. I want to get healthier. I want to volunteer more. Anything along those lines. Everyone gets that? Yeah? Okay. Tish plays some music and everyone do their 5 and then 3 things underneath each.
The Station Top Christian on Amazon Music.
Alexa, next.
That was starting over.
Alexa, stop.
Oh, what I would do to have the kind of faith it takes to climb out of this old hell under the crashing wave. Step out of my comfort zone into the realm of the unknown, where and he's holding out his hand. But the way the call of my name in the life of me, reminding me of all the times I tried before and failed. The way you keep on telling me time and time again, boy, you never win. You never win. I want you to listen and believe the Lord. Oh, what I I would do to have the kind of strength it takes to stand before a giant with just a sling and a stone. Surrounded by the sound of 1,000 warriors, shaking in their armor. She made of every string to stay. But the giants called out my name and they laughed at me, reminding me of all the times I tried to fall asleep. The giant keeps on telling me time and time again, boy, I could never win. But the voice of the truth tells me a different story. The voice of the truth. And the voice of my glory. Out of all the voices, all that I see, I will choose to listen to the voice.
If anyone just joined, all we're doing right now is brainstorming. So we're making a circle and putting our desires around it. We put 5 desires, like whether it's finances, friendships, business, fitness, health, and then it's anything that you want, your desires. And then under each one, we're putting about 3 or 4 things that would help us get to where we want or what we want out of those things. So like if health is one of your desires, it could be like losing weight or making healthy choices or being more active, things like that on a sheet of paper. When anyone's done, if you want to share one of them, that would be cool. You don't have to share everything, but like one thing. I'll say one of mine. One of mine is my friendships and my relationships. And one of the first thing coming out of what I was talking tonight about was communicate more with the people that I love. Because I feel like sometimes I get into like a bubble of like work or school or anything that I'm concentrating on, and I forget to communicate daily with the people that I love. So that's one of the things that I would say is a desire. If anyone has any, you can put in the chat too if you don't want to talk.
Why I'm broke, why I cry, how long I wait. I close my eyes and I see your face. All where my heart and I'm out of place. Lord, won't you stay? Make it feel so.
Alexa, play King of My Heart.
King of My Heart, live by Bethel Music, starting now on Amazon Music. the king of life. Be the shadow where I hide, the ransom for my life. Always you are, you're good. Oh, you are good, you're good. Oh, you are good, you're good. Oh, you are good, you're good.
So the opposite of that would be never struggling because you have enough money. So when you're on, like making out your desires for finances, it would be one of them, obviously. And you just say, I'm like, well, I'll touch on this next, but your goals. So one of your goals would be like make X amount of money in this time frame to feel like I'm financially stable. So yeah, everyone seems pretty good probably with this, right? We had enough time to do this. Let me see. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so there's really good ones in the chat right now from everybody. So from that list that you made, the circle with the 5 desires that you have, the next thing, this is where you take out your notebook. You don't need the paper anymore, or if you're still in your notebook, just turn to another page. And this is gonna be goal setting. So I want you to write out your top goals, but I want you to actually give them like exact endpoints. So you know exactly what you need to do to get there. So say mine's getting healthy, like being healthier and being more active. I'm going to write, I want to run a 10K in under an hour, like something like that. Or something, I want to make more money with my business. So I'm going to be exact and say, I want to make over $100,000 in 2019 from my business. So do 1 to 5 again, do it 1 for each of the areas that you guys said was your desire, but give it an endpoint. Like give it like you know exactly how you would get it. If you need any help, write it in the chat too.
The Station Top Christian on Amazon Music.
Does everyone have their 5? Okay. So the next part we're going to do is core clarity. So this is just understanding like what makes you feel a certain way, what ways you want to feel, just so you're writing this down. Everything that you write on this page should excite you. So for the first one, I want you guys to write how you want to feel when you wake up. So when you wake up first thing in the morning, what is the way you want to feel? It can be super generic. Just make sure it excites you. I'm doing it with you guys too. Exactly, Lacey. That's exactly what I wrote too. Yeah, it can be one word. It could be a sentence. And then for your second one, what do you want to think about first thing in the morning? When you wake up, it could be not even related to your business. This is just for personal development. So it could be you want to think about gratitude, or you want to think about your family, or you want to think about eating healthy breakfast, anything like along those lines. Write what you want to think about the first thing when you wake up. Okay, that was number 2. On the same note, what's the first thing you want to do when you get out of bed? It could go for a run. It could be meditation. It could be take a shower, something simple. It could be make breakfast for your family. Anything that you can think of, just think of what you'd want and put it in your notebook too. First thing you want to do. If you go on Melissa's morning Zooms, it could be a power hour, an audiobook, personal development. All right. Throughout your day, what do you want to do that would help others, or how do you want to help other people? It could be by telling someone that you're thankful for them. It could be helping your team, helping someone get a customer, if it's related to business, it could be getting a customer started with their health and wellness goals. If it's related to your personal life, it could be you want to make sure that your significant other knows that they're appreciated by you. Anything, just try to think about during that day. If you have a child, you can say you want to make sure your child knows that you appreciate them, you're doing everything for them. Just anything you want to do to help people. If you're in a relationship, this is where I want you to write how you want to feel in that relationship. So how you want to feel from your spouse, how you want to feel from your boyfriend or girlfriend, your husband, wife. I'm not in one, so I'm not going to leave it blank. And then as far as friendships, what do you want to do with your, like, what makes you the happiest when you're with your friends? It could just be honest. It's just for you to say, no one else. So just be like, if you like going out with your friends, if you like going to the movies, if you like just hanging out and having a girls' night, right? Whatever you like to do with your friends. And then we're going to go to the nighttime. So what do you want to do before bed? Like what do you want to accomplish before you go to sleep? What's one thing that right before you're going to bed, you want to make sure that you do, whether it's like disconnecting from technology for the last 15 minutes before you fall asleep, whether it's prepping your lunch and your meals for the next day, whether it's, what else could it be? Meditation, people do that in the morning, people can do it at night. You can do personal development at night, whatever you want to do right before you go to bed. And then how do you want to feel as you're falling asleep? So obviously if you're following what your goals are, you want to feel accomplished at the end of the day, but what's some other feelings that you want to feel right before you go to bed? When you wake up, if you feel excited and inspired and you feel happiness, well, how do you want to feel when you go to bed? It could be the same thing. It could be different. Okay, this one's a little longer, guys. But that should have been easy because that was only like a couple words. So the next one, we're going to do timeline evidence. So what you guys want to do on your next piece of paper, or anywhere else on the paper you have, is write your ages in groups of 5 until the age you are now. So for my timeline, it's going to be ages 0 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 16 to 20. I'm going to go up to 30. So do that on a piece of paper. It's going to be your timeline, and just put all your age groups until now for like a 5-year gap, 4 to 5 year gap. 0 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 16 to 20, 21 to 25, 26 to 30, and so on. You're 31 to 35, so on. Okay, so once you guys have that written down, what I want you to do for each age group, it can be one thing, just really quick, something major or that you accomplished in that time frame, or it was the first time you did it. I know age 0 to 5, you're like, what the heck, Courtney? I don't remember when I was 0 to 5. But I know that all of us learn to walk and talk and read and go to the bathroom on our own. So you can just put that like as your first accomplishment. You walked. You learned to walk. You learned to sit on a toilet. Like it could be anything. Just do like one thing for each. So like 6 to 10, another example, I put ride a bike. So do that for each age group. Something major, especially when you get older, it's like driving a car, etc., buying a house. But as you're growing up, you just write down like ride a bike or like whatever you accomplished in that age range. So everyone do one thing for each thing. Does anyone want to volunteer just reading 2? like reading a 6 to 10 one and then like an older one. You can type it too. Don't be shy. Your mics are muted, but you can unmute them.
I'll do mine.
Yay! Okay. So what was like two, like one from your early life and then one to now?
Well, I ride a bike before you.
Really? I know. That's what I thought of right away. I'm like 6 to 10. What did I do?
I thought of too.
Yeah.
And then I did 21 to 25. I got married.
Okay, so what this timeline is going to show you guys, so as you're looking at it from ages 0 to the current age you are now, is that literally in every 4 to 5 year gap, something significantly changed. So just think about how in that 5-year span you went from learning how to walk to riding a bike. And then mine later is like graduating college, Laura, get married. So all these things in different 5-year chunks in your life, like things drastically change. So something when you're 3 years old and or 2 years old and you're just learning how to do something, and then 5 years later you're learning to ride a bike, you at that age you would have no idea. You would think that's impossible for you to do when you're just learning how to walk. Does that make sense? Like when I graduated college, I was like, how the heck will I ever buy a house? And then 5 years later I buy a house. So it's things you think you can't do, but in the next 5 years from now, it's going to be like, well, of course I did that. Like you can set all these goals for your business or for your life. And you could be like, well, I'm going triple diamond. That seems like it's so freaking far away. But then a couple years later, you're like, oh crap, I did it. Like I did it. Like I thought this was not possible. But in these 4 to 5 year gaps that you guys see on your timeline, you go from not driving a car ever to driving across the country. So this is just to show you how drastically things can change and how massively that they can change in the next 5 years for you, so that when no matter what goal you guys are setting for yourself, it's never impossible. It's always possible. So that's just look at your timeline evidence throughout your life, and you can keep doing this as an activity to realize where you're going and where you've been. So the next activity I'm going to have you guys do is a dream team. So I want you to put 5 people on a list who you love to work with or live with or hang out with on a regular basis. This is basically like a chicken list. This is just someone you think would be great to be, you would love to be their friend. You would love to work with them. Just try, this is really hard, I know, to think about, but if you can, just try to get 5, try to get as many as you can. And you can come back to that later. But these are people that if you're visualizing that they're going to be a teammate or we relate to business, they're going to be a teammate, that they're going to be on your radar and in your mind, that you wrote their name on this piece of paper in this Zoom. And then let's fast forward to see who these people actually are joining people's teams, because you're visualizing it and you're seeing it like the movie The Secret. We're putting it down on a piece of paper. So just write like a chicken list, like 5 people you would call your dream team.
Like a law of attraction kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tumbling and cheering, me too, Britt. 6 to 10. Now I can't even lift my leg up above my head. Oh yeah. We're cheerleading for basketball. When you guys are done that, make a list of 5 people who are your mentor. Like this is your mentor arsenal. So people that you would go to every day, whether through an audiobook or YouTube, to get inspired and be motivated to stay on track. So obviously like Jade or someone like that, or Rachel Hollis, people like that. Just make a list of 5 of your mentor arsenal, like people that help you feel inspired. I know on Sabrina's list there'd be some less brown on there. Okay, we have a couple more. Oh my gosh, my legs. Okay, so on the next piece of paper, or the next page on your notebook, you're gonna do a strength finder. So what you're gonna write is a list of just a couple things, doesn't have to be long, of things that you're good at, that you know you're good at. It could be cooking, it could be talking to potential customers, it could be volunteer work, anything you think that you know you're good at. It could just be like a couple things too. You don't have to write a lot.
Don't even need no shade. Sun don't shine. You made it happen. Roll back like lemon. It's hard to keep believing. If I see you by.
And then on that same list, like right next to it, write things that you enjoy doing. So yeah, you could be good at something, but write things that you actually enjoy doing. It could tie into what you list on your good at list, but it doesn't have to. You can just put things that you like. If you woke up tomorrow, what would you enjoy doing? Now look at your list of things that you're good at and look at the list of things you enjoy doing. And if anything matches up, draw an arrow to it. So if you think you're good at, you think you're good at talking to, like I said earlier, talking to potential customers, talking to customers, and then you enjoy making money or you enjoy helping people, like they would tie it into each other so you can draw an arrow to it. If you have something that doesn't match up, so I would say look at the list and see if it can one to many could be like, so if you enjoy posting, if you enjoy talking to customers and you enjoy making, or you're good at those things and you enjoy making money, you can arrow both of them over. But if something doesn't match up with what you enjoy doing, cross it out. This is just to show you like what you're good at, where your strengths are, and then what you enjoy doing. So you're making sure that you're utilizing your capabilities to what you love to do. And if you don't love to do something, then you shouldn't be doing it. So here's one that I know affects a lot of people. So this one's called landmines. So what you guys want to do is, it can be on the same piece of paper at the bottom. It could be on the next, whatever you want to put. But this is going to just title the section landmines. And this is going to be a list of things that will bring you down. So this is literally the opposite of things that you love to do, or you enjoy doing. So these are things that are going to bring you down and take you away from your goals. So these are things that you need to avoid. So for example, if you make a list, do a list right now, just make a list of like 1 to 3 things, whatever you think sticks out to you as something that can bring you down from staying away from your goals. One of them could be Netflix binging. Like, so many people get caught in watching TV, and what could you be doing instead? So write a list of things that you think is your vice, things that don't bring you happiness. Well, that don't bring you down. I mean, Netflix binge can bring you happiness, but it's going to take you away from all the goals that you're setting for yourself, especially with this business. So have that written down, and then next to it, what could you do instead? And make sure it's something that's like actionable, that you in your head, when you're thinking about this deterrent, like this thing that's stopping you from getting where you want to be, you automatically have a switch that knows what to do. So instead of this is an example, instead of scrolling through Facebook, looking at other people's lives and seeing like how great their lives are, and like you're just aimlessly scrolling, and you're like, oh, look at her great picture she took today, or she did this. Instead, you could be writing a life post about your ideal life. So instead of mindlessly scrolling through Facebook, you could automatically be like, shit, I got to stop doing this. I know I'm like mindlessly scrolling, which a lot of us have done before, I'm sure. And instead be like, okay, I'm going to make a life post. This is the moment I remember writing down that piece of paper and that Zoom, like I'm going to know to switch. So instead of Netflix binging, when you see yourself about to turn on the TV, turn on an audiobook, like something like that. Just try to make a list of a couple things that you know that you struggle with as a landmine for you, and then what you can do instead. For these things that you're writing down, a lot of us end up complaining later about it. So like I know my vice is I can't wake up in the morning. Like it's so hard for me to wake up in the morning. And then I complain later about, oh my God, I wanted to be on Melissa's Zoom, but I slept in again. I didn't listen to my alarm, and I feel shitty because I feel like there's a cloud over my head because I slept in so much. When my brain should start thinking like the solution instead of a complaint. So what's the solution to that? Oh, wake up early, get on a Zoom, do personal development. So it's things like that you guys want to start like trying to get your brain to stop thinking of complaints all the time or excuses, and automatically right away think of it like a solution, something that could help you with your goals. Okay, we have 3 more things. We're making good time. All right, when you guys are done that, let's go to the next. Okay, everyone good? Yeah. So the next one, so like kind of like what I was just saying, that example about scrolling through Facebook and then looking at other people's lives when you could just be writing about your ideal life. So this next activity would be creating your ideal life. So it's an ideal day in the life, basically, an ideal 24 hours of your day. So this is going to be written, you can literally write it as like what time you wake up, like 6 a.m., 7 a.m., whatever time you wake up and what you do until you go to bed. So try to make it as detailed as possible with your morning, midday, and evening. This is your ideal scenario. This is writing as if it's your future, but you're pretending that it's happening tomorrow. This list that you guys are going to put for your ideal life, don't factor in any, like money is not an obstacle, or money and time are not obstacles in this scenario. So it can be, if you want to live rich, pretend that's the day that you're creating right now. Once we go through this, I would say that this list, this whole process has been visualizing it. You're going to be seeing exactly what you want and the future that you want and the day that you want. And then it's just a matter of time before you start living it. So simple things like what time you want to wake up, you can start living that tomorrow and doing it tomorrow. So use this time. Tish, you want to play music a little louder? I couldn't hear it. And then we'll just probably spend like 5 minutes creating our ideal life.
Alexa, play Jesus music.
Here's a station you might like. Talk Christian on Amazon Music.
Alexa, stop.
What a Savior, isn't He wonderful? Sing hallelujah, Christ is risen.
All right, you guys can come back to that later in your notebook too. So the next one we're going to do is gratefulness. So I want you to put 5 things that you're grateful for today. Like, so many times we think about things that are going wrong or things that are negative or things that we haven't hit yet or things that we haven't done yet. But this is your time to sit here and honestly think like what you're grateful for today. Like as of this moment, what are you super grateful for? It can be anything. Do 5 things.
Lay across thy sweet crown, tell the world of the truth about
As you're writing your 5, this is a really good, I forget what book it was from, but this is a really good tactic to do every day. So you remind yourself that you have a lot of things to be grateful for. Because like I said, a lot of times people just focus on the things they don't have yet. Focusing on what you do have. Tish is piping up a storm.
I'm sorry. I type really aggressively.
I know. All right, so the last thing that I'm going to have you guys do today for this is a checklist for your day. So this is going to be great to keep you accountable. This definitely should relate to your business. This definitely should relate to your personal life. Make 3 sections of morning, afternoon, or midday and evening, and just write the things that you want to get done in that time frame. Whether it's clean the house, whether it's cook meals, whether it's message 10 people for a host to post, whether it's add 10 friends on Facebook, like things like that. Things that are actionable that you can look at every day and see, like check it off. It's your own checklist. So it's good to have one of these. If you need ideas, business-wise, I'm sure a lot of us can give each other ideas and put it in the chat. But it can be follow-ups. It can be like putting host-to-posts out, adding new friends, messaging people on Instagram, running Captivate and growing your network. It could be making life posts, product posts, and it works posts. It could be contacting your team, interacting with people in your social network. It can be doing stories, Instagram, Facebook stories, and it can also be personal development and working on yourself. Stuff like that. Yeah, Sabrina's writing some. Okay, so as you guys look back in the things that we did and you look at your notebook, you can go back all the way to the beginning and brainstorming. You talked about your desires. These are key things for your life post. These are key things about why you're working your business. These are key things about things you want in your life that you can share with your friends and your family. Just things that if you've never actually put it on paper and looked at it before, now you realize what you really, really want. Then you go look at goal setting, so you know exactly what to do to get there. So you know exactly the actionable items that you can take in order to hit those goals. So you're looking at that. Then the next thing we talked about was core clarity. So you want to be feeling these things and doing these things every day because you don't want to wake up and feel miserable. You don't want to go to bed and feel miserable. You want to wake up and feel inspired and excited and happy. Like whatever feeling you wrote, start like acting on it. Do things in your list of brainstorming and your list of goal setting that can get you to those feelings and excite you. And then the timeline evidence, like I said before, you guys did great drastic things from each 5-year gap, that things that you didn't think were possible in that 5-year gap before. So just imagine in your next 5-year gap, this can tie into the day in the life scenario we talked about of where you want to be and how that can be possible in the next 5 years. Massive action. Then your dream team, these people that you want to make sure you have under your belt or you can have on your team or reach out to and see if they'd be interested. The worst they can say is no. And then your mentor arsenal. You guys want to use that arsenal to make sure when you're doing your personal development daily, that you're looking for their videos or their audiobooks and listening to it, because these are people that inspire you. So you want to make sure that you're consuming their content each day instead of finding yourself mindlessly scrolling through YouTube or on Instagram or on Facebook watching those videos that just pop up and keep playing. You want to make sure that you're filling your cup with information that's going to inspire you and lead you to hit your goals. And then your strength finder. You want to realize what you're enjoying doing and what you're good at and how you can maximize the both of that potential. And at the same time, realizing what's going to stand in your way or try to bring you down. Like we said, the devil always tries to bring you down when you're doing great things and promoting. So all those landmines that you have in the meantime, knowing that they're there, knowing that other things that you can do instead. So like one of the examples was scrolling through Facebook and seeing other people's lives instead of you can automatically switch and be like, I'm going to write a life post and talk about my day in my life, my ideal life. So the next thing we talked about was the ideal life scenario. So this is exactly what you're picturing when you are looking at that next 5 years that you guys want to have, the next goal mark you want to have, where you picture your life going and what goals that you've been setting and hitting and wanting and avoiding those landmines to get to this day. And then each day we're going to be grateful along the way of things that have already happened and are happening in our lives, and not always looking at the negative things that are going on. Things that like being healthy or owning your own home, anything along those lines, anything you're grateful for. Think about that every day and always have a list of 5 that you're grateful for. And then action items on everything we just talked about is basically putting into a checklist, because a pilot can't fly a plane without having a checklist before he takes off. So you guys, this is your takeoff. This is your checklist to get to where you want to be, things that you know you need to do every day. And this is how you're going to stay accountable, by looking at this list and literally just putting check marks when you hit everything along the way. And then at the end of the day, you're going to go to bed feeling accomplished, or however you said you wanted to feel, because you're doing everything in your power to get there. So I hope this helped you guys see what you are doing. Let me stop the recording.